This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. The South Dakota Supreme Court issued an opinion Thursday that state courts do not have jurisdiction over certification of the Keystone XL Pipeline permit. Pipeline opponents appealed the Public Utility Commission's 2014 certification of TransCanada's 2010 permit. On appeal, a Sixth Circuit judge upheld the certification, and opponents appealed that decision. Now, the High Court says neither the Sixth Circuit nor the Supreme Court has standing under state law to hear the appeal. Victoria Wicks reports.
In South Dakota, if a utility company doesn't start a project within 4 years of getting a permit, it has to certify to the PUC that it can still meet the permit conditions. The South Dakota PUC held extensive public hearings in the summer of 2015 to certify the Keystone XL permit. After the PUC accepted TransCanada's assurances, opponents appealed to Circuit Court, where the PUC's decision was upheld. When the state Supreme Court agreed to hear opponents' challenge to the lower court's ruling, it asked parties to address whether state courts have jurisdiction over certification. During oral arguments in April, Robin Martinez represented Dakota Rural Action. He said the 2015 hearing was quasi-judicial in nature and warranted protections.
The fact that the Public Utilities Commission went through a 9-day evidentiary hearing gave us some due process rights. We frankly don't think they were sufficient.
Pipeline attorney William Taylor told justices that TransCanada believed that the hearing was legally unnecessary, but the company did not object because doing so might delay certification.
And at the time, because of the political climate, we had reason to believe that the presidential permit that is the prerequisite to the construction of this pipeline was going to be granted, and time was of the essence.
The Supreme Court agreed with TransCanada. The pipeline still faces opposition in federal court in Montana, where oral arguments were heard last month. And in Nebraska, the state Supreme Court will hear arguments this fall. For National Native News, I'm Victoria Wicks in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Wells High School in Maine will remove its Indian mascot logo but keep its warrior name. A committee voted this week to remove Native American imagery after a 7-month study. The Press-Herald reports the committee came up with a number of recommendations for the school board, including the removal of Indian imagery across the district and retire the warrior head logo in the Wells High School Hall of Fame. The Wells School is among schools across the country considering dropping their Indian mascots. Just this week, a Cincinnati area school could not reach a vote on its Indian mascot, which will remain for now. A San Francisco board voted this week to grant a rehearing for the fate of a statue Native people and their supporters want removed near City Hall. The San Francisco Chronicle reports the Board of Appeals had ruled in April that the early days statue should remain in place, but granted the rehearing after hearing testimony from people calling for its removal. Some Native people say it glorifies colonization. The more than 100-year-old statue features a priest standing over an Indian lying on the ground. The removals of Confederate statues across the country reignited the push to remove statues of settlers and colonists. The rehearing in San Francisco may take place this summer. This week, the Blackfeet Nation and Interior Department leaders signed documents implementing the Blackfeet Water Rights Settlement and Water Compact. It resolves a decades-long battle by the Montana tribe to protect its water rights. Tribal and Interior Department officials, along with some members of Congress, were at the signing ceremony in Washington, D.C. I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced at the Annenberg National Native Voice Studios by Quantic Broadcast Corporation. Funding is provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, with support from the Public Radio Satellite Service.
Support by First Tribal Lending, NMLS 150009, the nation's most experienced Section 184 lending team. Info for home loans on and off the reservation available at onetribal.com. That's the numeral onetribal.com. Support by BNSF Railway, moving our economy for over 165 years. Our vision is to operate injury and accident-free with safety programs, training, and technology. More at bnsf.com/tribal relations.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.